Yeah, so is the screen visible? I guess it is. Regardless, is the skip the introduction? Of course, I understand that everybody like wants to know about what exactly the person is coming from, but I feel the point of the talk is inevitably to understand कि हम GSoC में exactly जाते कैसे हैं. So of course, it's going to be a one-on-one in a sense to just understand the process and to understand कि एक individual की उसके through journey क्या होती है, and to understand what exactly it takes to try and to understand the organizations for GSoC instead of just being hell-bent कि हमें इसमें जाना ही जाना है. So of course, what is Google Summer of Code? I do think that of course, if you're all in this meeting, you do understand what exactly is the relevance of this entire event. Now, Google Summer of Code happens every year, and it basically is a huge open source event that has a lot of organizations coming in, and they revolve around topics with machine learning, front end, back end, OS development, robotics, health, medicine, psychology, and a whole lots of stuff. But usually people only focus on one aspect, that is software development, and that exactly leads it to become a rat race. And वो हम नहीं चाहते. हम चाहते हैं कि हम ये समझें कि हमने किस चीज पे फोकस करना है और हमें किस चीज पे काम करने में एक्चुअली मजा आता है. अगर हम जबरदस्ती उस चीज पे फोकस करेंगे जहाँ पे हर कोई जा रहा है, तो ऑफ कोर्स आपके चांसेस आउट ऑफ क्यूरियोसिटी नहीं है, आउट ऑफ प्योर यू नो फीलिंग ऑफ बीइंग लेफ्ट आउट है, लग रहा है कि आप इसलिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो क्योंकि बाकी कर रहे हैं. तो हमें वो चीज को अपने माइंडसेट से निकालना है, एंड वी हैव टू लाइक वर्क ऑन फिल्टरिंग दैट आउट. एंड आई नीड टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड इन अ सेंस दैट इन एवरी फील्ड द वर्क इज नॉट easy. Okay, but you have to understand that you have to pick a poison that you can drink like a wine, right? Be it machine learning, be it front end, or be it back end, all of those fields are demanding in their own right. But it is your duty to understand what is a thing that you can sit and work on. Now, you've of course read the slide by now, so I'll just move forward and actually get to the crux of the stuff. So yeah. So like I've said before as well, like look beyond product only orgs. If you go for products and organizations like Intel or like Google itself, or many other product-based companies, they have a lot of seats in GSoC because of course they want to hire a lot of people for that summer. But that leads to a lot of a sense of a rat race. And जो लोग usually YouTube के ऊपर like work करते हैं, वो हमेशा इसी टाइप के organizations के लिए जाने को बोलते हैं, because of the same reason, like I said, it has a lot of seats, right? But हमें इस चीज में ये समझना है कि हमें किस चीज में काम करने में अच्छा लगता है. So let me just go over the points first. The research driven focus, like I said, you can also have research based organizations as an alternative to product only organizations. Now, the organization that I worked for was ML for Science, and there is another one called Human AI, and there are 2 3 more that are only research based. अब ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के अंदर जो हम यूजुअली यूट्यूब पे सुनते हैं कि आप जाओ गुड फर्स्ट इशू ढूंढो गिटहब पे, फिर पीआरस भेजो, एंड दैट लीड्स टू अ लो क्वालिटी PR from most of the people, right? And अभी आप लोगों ने by chance सुना भी होगा कि some organizations are getting out of GSoC because of that same entire mindset of sending low quality PRs. I understand that अगर आप development side पे हो, आपको PRs push करनी है, and you can of course use LLMs in your own right, but you have to understand कि एक आउटपुट जो एक LLM से आ रहा है उसको डीपली समझना हमारी ही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. अगर मैं LLMs यूज करता हूँ, जो कि मैं बहुत हेवीली करता हूँ, आई यूज क्लॉड, चैट जीपीटी, आई यूज परप्लेक्सिटी, एवरीथिंग, एंड द पॉइंट बीइंग इज यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इट स्प्यूज आउट, क्योंकि वो हमारा काम है. अगर आप अपना काम नहीं समझा सकते तो आप उस चीज के लिए अप्लाई क्यों कर रहे हो? तो ये माइंडसेट एंड मोटिवेशन शिफ्ट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, एंड दैट एग्जैक्टली मेक्स यू वे डिफरेंट देन like millions of people who are actually trying for GSoC, right? Now let's move towards the next stuff, deep technical problems. Of course, it has a lot of high-level problems in ML and scientific computing and all. In fact, आप जिस चीज पे try करोगे GSoC में, like if I give an example, I will get to the organizations themselves soon enough. I'm keeping track of the time as well. But आप जिस चीज के लिए try करोगे GSoC में, जिस भी प्रपोजल के लिए, जिस भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए और जिस भी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स जो आपका एक्चुअल काम होगा उस समर में, इट विल बी अराउंड 10 times more complex than what you applied for. एंड इस पॉइंट पे आपकी इंजेन्युइटी काम आती है कि आप ऑन द स्पॉट कितना अडेप्ट कर सकते हैं, दिखा पा रहा हूँ। तो इसलिए लोग बहुत चीप पीआरस कर देते हैं एंड दैट लीड्स टू देम गेटिंग रिजेक्टेड, राइट? सो ऑफ कोर्स वी ऑल नो quality over quantity, but please exactly work on that. Work on quality over quantity. That's what I would say. Now, if we move forward towards depth over features, I've covered this point already. Like, of course, the impact is measured by the technical complexity, not the feature count. So, next, I'll, of course, decipher in a sense of the types of organizations. We have the product only, and we also have the research based organizations. For product only organizations, the same cycle, the cycle is the same as it is told in the YouTube videos कि आप GitHub पे जाओ, good first issues देखो, and good first issues जो है सीखने के लिए होते हैं, समझने के लिए होते हैं रेपो को। उनको आप एज अ पीआर काउंट नहीं कर सकते जो आप अपने प्रपोजल में इवेंचुअली यूज करोगे। So that is only for learning and to understanding the code, for understanding the code base. All right. So if we move forward now, like I said, of course, depth over trends, and I've covered these points in a sense. The first is, of course, pick a genuine interest, a domain that excites you personally, not just what is currently trending. Now, एक और क्वेश्चन आपके मन में आ सकता है कि अब मैंने वेब डेवलपमेंट बोल तो दिया, लेकिन वेब डेवलपमेंट खुद में कितना ज्यादा वास्ट है, वेब डेवलपमेंट में क्या? Well, I'll get to that in like 5-7 minutes. So yeah, next up is the compounding expertise. The thing is to just sit with the problem, right? We use LLMs. It's the common norm nowadays. It's normal. It's like it's good to use them. If you're not using them, you're not at an advantage. You're at a disadvantage because you're not like taking advantage of the speed that it provides you with. But हमारा point होता है कि हम question या problem के साथ बैठना सीखें, right? The entire thing, of course, you're applying for GSoC, right? It is done by Google. They also understand the shift in the mindset of its participants. So they also will respect quality over quantity. If you think that you can use like LLMs for problem solving, like I do as well, I'm guilty of that. It's normal. They know that. What do they not do? What do you have to prove to them? कि आप प्रॉब्लम को बैठ के समझना जानते हो। सॉल्व तो आजकल हर कोई कर लेता है यूजिंग LLMs, right? So the third thing is domain mastery. I would say that mastery is a loose term. The entire point is to realize that you have to learn every day, right? Whether it's ML or systems, anything. If a person says कि उसको ML आती है, or if a person says कि उसको systems आता है, उसको backend आता है, it just means कि उसको उस फील्ड की प्रॉब्लम को समझना आता है, राइट? अगर आपके पीयर सिस्टम के अंदर कोई बंदा कहता है कि मैं तो एमएल में एक्सपर्ट हूँ, कि मैं बेस्ट हूँ या मैं ये हूँ, आप समझ सकते हो कि उसकी नॉलेज शैलो ही है। ओके, so that's the point of this slide. So yeah, regardless, let's just move forward. Yeah, of course, clean logic and dense codes. In terms of the proposal now, this is like points of the proposal. Clear deliverables. अगर आप किसी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो, आपको नहीं पता उस पर क्या काम करोगे, बट आपका ये थॉट प्रोसेस आपको दिखाना होता है कि आप एग्जैक्टली किस चीज पे काम करने वाले हो। हालांकि हो सकता है आप उस चीज पे काम करो भी ना, बट द पॉइंट इज टू शो दैट यू कैन मेक अ प्लान, दैट you know how to break problems. So suppose if I give an example, like if I have to make a pen, right, and I have to make that pen over a span of 7 months, I can easily tell the deliverables, right? कि मेरे को एंड में एक पेन देना है एंड साथ में उसकी फ्री रिफिल देनी है इन अ सेंस, राइट? You know what you have to give. So next is define milestones. How do I make that pen and that refill? I have to source plastic, I have to source the ink, I have to source the metal for the nib. So those milestones are something that they look for. They just need to understand from you कि इस 6 months के स्पैन में आप अपना टाइम इन्वेस्ट करोगे कैसे, अगेन क्या पता उस पर काम करो भी ना, क्या पता मैंने बोला अपने प्रपोजल में कि मैं पेन के लिए काम कर रहा हूँ, एंड एट द एंड मैं लेड पेंसिल पे काम करूँ, which is a derivative of the same kind of work, but the process of the milestone is the same, if you get my point, right? Next is the feasibility assessment. Now, again, if you have a structured proposal, it is more pleasing to the eye, right? But in the end of the day, you and I both know that the proposal itself is the last step in GSoC, right? Before that, you have to put in at least, at this point, I think you have like 2 weeks left until the proposal window ends. But I also am preparing for GSoC again this year. But yeah, I just have to make my proposal as of yet. But in these 2 weeks, I still feel that if you make a strong enough proposal for like research-based organizations, you have a very good chance. And one tip I would actually give from my end is to know to apply for stuff which has less probability of other people going into it. Okay. Now, of course, I don't think now is the right time to ask like questions from the audience type stuff, but I want you to answer internally in a sense. If I see a project that works on black holes, okay, and I see a project that works on sound vibrations, which one do you think more people will click on? The black holes one, right? So you have to understand कि हमें साउंड वाइब्रेशंस वाले वाले पे जाना है, इसमें कोई शर्म वाली बात नहीं है, हमें जीसॉक के अंदर जाना है। जीसॉक के अंदर क्या काम कर रहे हो वो अभी आपका सोचना पॉइंट नहीं है, अभी हमें पॉइंट है चांसेस को इम्प्रूव करना, ठीक है? Go for stuff that you think less people will go for because it's comparatively tougher or less fancy or less sparkly. All right. Yeah, of course. It's like pretty simple. I think you have a good idea of that. Submit early. So like अगर हमारा 31st March का like वो है deadline to like apply by 26th 27th March, just as a goodwill, right? Even the GSoC website says to apply 3 days before the deadline as a suggestion. Study past proposals. If you Google simply accepted proposals for GSoC, you'll find GitHub repos that has organization centered proposals for everything. आप किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास्ट एक्सेप्टेड प्रपोजल्स देख सकते हो लोगों के, and use them as a format, use them as an inspiration of wording. Okay, identify patterns. I think I've covered that. Next is understand structure. Yeah, don't simply copy, of course. Like sit with the problem, understand what you're working with, right? Exactly. So double down where you truly care. Now, when I started to work for GSoC and tried to apply for it, I was doing ML for around 6 to 7 months before that. I know that I lack skills in I lack skills in front end and back end. मुझे नहीं आती front end back end इतनी ज़्यादा, right? I just know enough to like get around with my way. But at the moment, my strength is ML, even though I do have the imposter syndrome of not even knowing that. मुझे लगता है मुझे वो भी नहीं आती बिल्कुल. So yeah, there are like phases in between. But regardless, the point being is you have to learn to appreciate your strengths. Identify your weaknesses, but appreciate your strengths. Okay. You have to just understand कि जिस चीज के लिए तुम अप्लाई कर रहे हो, डबल डाउन ऑन दैट। अगर तुम्हें लगता है तुम्हें फ्रंट एंड बेस्ट आती है, फ्रंट एंड के लिए ही अप्लाई करो। ये मत सोचो कि भाई 1000 लोग फ्रंट एंड के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं, मेरा कहाँ होगा। 1000 लोग हो सकते हैं उनमें से 800 900 इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि फ्रंट एंड तो भाई ऐसी हो जाती है। You get it. The mindset shift is the main thing. Just a second, I think. Everything cool? Okay, all right. So next up, if we move towards the strategy game, yeah, of course. If you think GSoC as a thing that will improve your life, it won't. You still will have your daily problems. You still will have to like deal with CGPA, mid sems, end sems, and the whole debacle. But it improves your resume 100%. It improves your credibility 1000%. This is my fifth or sixth like talk or like including all offline and online ones, just on research and GSoC only. So you can think in that sense that it is important for your resume, but don't make it as your sole reason to apply. If I put it in a better way, the improvements that you have from GSoC is a co-product of your own hard work, right? अगर मुझे पेन बनाने का शौक था तभी मैंने पेन बनाया और फिर उसको बेचा। बेचने के बाद जो पैसे आए मेरे पेन बनाने के शौक की वजह से आए हैं, इसलिए नहीं कि मेरे को मैंने दूसरों को देखा पेन बनाते हुए तो मैंने भी बना दिया मेरे भी पैसे आ गए। ऐसे तो फिर किसी को भी नहीं पैसे मिलेंगे भाई। यू गेट इट? सो दैट्स द एंटायर like thought process I want to give you all, because I personally am against the entire rat race culture that is behind GSoC, the entire Jification, and trying to like forcefully figure out ways to get into it. There's no need for you to get into it. In fact, I got rejected by LFX recently. So LFX is like another GSoC like open source event. So I tried to apply for it, but I failed, and that's okay, right? Of course I felt bad about it. I felt very bad about it. I like tried for it for like a month or two, but that's the part of the game, right? I lose nothing, I gain nothing. Keep your mindset just about building. Okay, I think I said it in a post as well, like to stop like grinding but start building, right? I think that is it from the PPT side. Yeah, so I'll just show you a quick glance of my proposal, and then I'll just ask questions at around 8:25. So yeah, if I look at my proposal as well, of course, structure it in a good way. It's like pretty basic in a sense. You know how to make a good Word document. You won't believe, like I asked my mentor, like, of course, I'm with a good relationship now with them as an interpersonal relationship. So they did share with me that 80% of the proposals are not structured enough. But I trust you guys to actually make a good looking proposal. And it's pretty simple in a sense. It's not something which is like out of the world. You have a clear index that has like, of course, fancy, uh, what do I say, hyperlinks to any section, right? Then, of course, if you move forward, you have the project synopsis, the background research, the deliverables, what I'll try to do. In fact, I did half of the stuff. Like I think it did. No, never mind. Never mind. I did it. Never mind. Never mind. I like submitted all the deliverables. Not bad. So yeah, yeah. I think there's another lesson. Like be proud of yourself. I think I lack in that as well. But regardless, so as you can see, what exactly the changes I made for the evaluation task that was given. So keep that in mind. And let me just a second. I think just a second. Okay. Yeah. I'll just take a second. My bad regarding that. I'll just. Yeah, just let me know if the proposal is visible now.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. Thank you very much for letting me know. So I'll just give a quick one again. I think I lost a lot of aura while like speaking about something which does not exist. I'm not like schizophrenic, I promise. But regardless, you can see the structure. As I said, it's like pretty simple in terms of design, right? I trust you all to do that. And I hope that you have heard what I've said because I'm going to go a bit quickly. All right. So, like I said, I did deliver the proposal, the deliverables. I'm not sure. Never mind, I'm sure. And yeah, of course, the questions that you have to do. This was the task that was given for ML4Sci for that project itself. So there's that. And I did that. It was explicitly given on the ML4Sci website. There was no ambiguity कि मुझे क्या करना है घुसने के लिए. Okay. So look for projects that have clear demands from you. Don't go for ambiguity. There will be multiple organizations जो बोलेंगे कि हम आपसे बस एक ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम बनवाएंगे. भाई बहुत गंदा काम होता है वो. इन अ वेरी सिंपल सेंस जितना ज्यादा चीज जनरल साउंड करेगी उतनी ज्यादा टफ वो होगी हैंडल करना एक सेट अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम में. ठीक है. सो ये चीज अब ध्यान रखना. एंड या दिस इज बेसिकली what can I say? Just telling what I did. This is the second common task. what I did for getting in. मैंने लोड किया प्रिपेयर किया डेटा को, मैंने डिफाइन किया ट्रांसफॉर्म मॉडल, मैंने स्क्रीनशॉट्स डाल दिए थोड़े से कोड के, एंड एवरीथिंग व्हिच सीम्स that you know कि ये डलना ही चाहिए. It's just common sense. So don't overthink. Okay. This was another task I had to do. So just explaining what I did as an approach, explaining what worked, what did not work, defining what I did. Again, adding the screenshots of simple main stuff I used. And then again, the schedule of deliverables or the work plan, what I did with the coding, and the past experience that I have, personal projects. Again, personal projects do not matter at all. All right. I just had to put them because the person I used the format from had that section, तो मैंने भी डाल दिया. ठीक है. मैंने भी एक already previously accepted ML for Sci contributor का मैंने देखा था. ठीक है. So yeah, this was my proposal as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. I think I'm pretty like dot on time. Yeah, let me just stop sharing. So yeah, raise hands if you have any questions. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. It's cool.
How is open source a good thing for a resume? We do have internships to do. Like, how open source benefits us more than an internship?
Yeah, okay, cool, fair enough. Good question. So considering the open source, um, a lot of big companies, in any sense, expect you to have open source experience as in your resume, just because it shows कि तुम एक publicly available question पे solve कर सकते हो easily. And in terms of like applications and internships, as you say, many of the internships openings that I've seen on LinkedIn myself explicitly say that they prefer open source experience as a point in your resume, or they prefer research as a point in their resume, right? So there's that. And considering open source, मैंने research based organization भी किया, so that's why I actually wrote my research paper on this as well, and I went to present it in San Diego as well. So it's a whole entire like process that you learn to understand. Don't try to like find out profit out of every opportunity, right? So and again, open source event है, I agree, but एक Google का open source event है तो इसका ज़्यादा वो है, um, points ज़्यादा मिलते हैं in a sense resume में, I would say. So yeah, I hope I answered the question, and my point was not to be sarcastic. I'm sorry. So yeah, next question, please. Yeah, sure. You can like unmute. It's cool.
Hi Krish, Aryan this side. Like you have said, you are using LLM. Like आप देख ही रहे हो कि आजकल LLMs are very powerful. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
ये एक रीजन है कि PR क्वालिटीज जो डिक्रीज हो रही है जी सॉक में? इफ इट्स सो, अगर कोई बिगिनर है तो आप उसको क्या रेकमेंड करना चाहोगे कि LLMs कितने लिमिट पे यूज करना या ना करना?
Okay. LLMs full limit में यूज करो. उसका full limit क्या होती है? Like full fledged यूज करो. So if you don't use LLMs, तुम पीछे रह जाओगे, क्योंकि तुमसे बेटर जो इंसान है वो ऑटोमेटिकली लाइक LLMs यूज करके तुमसे आगे निकल जाएगा. तुम बस एक वीक कंट्रीब्यूटर बन के रह जाओगे क्योंकि उनको लगेगा
नहीं तो
तुमने किया ही
फुल
क्या
वाइब
है.
कोडिंग करना भी सही होगा क्या इसमें, यही पूछ रहा
I'm getting to the point. I'm getting to the point. Vibe coding is when you don't understand what's going on. अगर किसी को सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट आती है तो वो बेटर प्रॉम्प्ट्स क्रिएट करेगा, बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्रिएट कर पाएगा रिस्पॉन्सेस की, कंपेयर टू जिसको वो पार्ट आता ही नहीं है. समझ रहे हो? सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड वो क्या दे रहा है. यू शुड नो एवरी लाइन ऑफ द कोड एंड व्हाट इट डज. वाइब कोडिंग kills the quality of the PRs because they don't understand what they're giving. अगर अगर एक फर्स्ट ईयर का बच्चा एक कर्नल लेवल का ओएस के अंदर पीआर सॉल्व कर पा रहा है, आई नो दैट्स अ लाई. You get what I mean, right? I mean, I hope I answered your question. If you have any ambiguity, just let me know.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, any other question? I understand anyone from the team could just let me know how much time do I have, because the other person may be waiting as well.
Uh,
Um, the GDG team could let me know.
yeah, we are done now.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if I can take just one last question if you want, anyone. Okay, I have a chat. The first thing you can say is where you go and just no. So you go for where competition is less. Oh, आई थिंक यू डिडंट लाइक गेट माई पॉइंट. आई मेंट कि उस चीज में अप्लाई करो जहाँ पे तुम्हें मन है. फील्ड में चाहे कंपटीशन ज्यादा हो, लेकिन प्रोजेक्ट तुम्हें वो ढूंढना जहाँ पे कंपटीशन कम हो. अगर एक प्रोजेक्ट है जिसके अंदर मेरे को कलर चेंज करने हैं किसी चीज ऑब्जेक्ट के, ऑफ कोर्स उस पर ज्यादा लोग जाएंगे. लेकिन अगर मुझे ऑब्जेक्ट के अंदर के अंदर चेंजेस करना है, उसमें कम लोग जाएंगे क्योंकि कॉम्प्लेक्स आता है. सो स्टे इन योर फील्ड, डोंट चेंज योर फील्ड, choose a project which is less competition. Okay.
That sums it up. So that was really insightful, Krish, and I thank you. And I hope you guys have a clear view of how to approach GSoC now. So we move on to our next speaker, that is Chirag Gupta. Chirag is a contributor in GSoC 2025, and he has worked with Jenkins, and he is a mentor there also. So over to you, Chirag.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the team for having me. Just give me a second. Can you please give me a screen? Yeah. So as you mentioned, like I was a contributor last year with Jenkins, and this year I got opportunity to like be a mentor over there. I could have chose to like appear for GSoC this year as well, but I chose to like help other contributors out, and hence I chose the mentor route. First of all, like I agree with Krish, like when he says that he's against that rat race kind of thing behind the GSoC. Yeah, I'm against that as well. Because people think that GSoC is something that you have to crack. You really don't have to. It will appear like really good in your resume, but it's not really anything else. It might give you some opportunities, but that's all. You might be better off grinding DSA or maybe like front and back end skills instead of going for GSoC if that's not the route meant for you. So we need to understand like everyone has their own path to becoming a good engineer or maybe good data scientist or anything like that. For me, it was GSoC because I started loving open source in my like third year. I was tinkering around with PyTorch and TensorFlow, and I was like, how are these things built? Like, why do engineers keep these things for free? And I got to know like these are open source projects, and if someone knows, like one of these projects is a very famous org as well, and it started as a GSoC project only. So and then I started like working towards my goal, and I got selected for Jenkins. And I'll walk you through my journey in this meeting. So what happened like 2 years ago, I had like a glow up as in I started thinking about going to IT side of things. At first I thought like I'll go into electronics core, but I got interested into Python and mainly like data science stuff. And after data science, I got into AI agents and LLMs. After which
Chirag,
I yes,
Chirag, sorry to interrupt. Your screen is not visible.
sorry for that.
Yeah,
I
continue.
think it's visible now. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
is visible.
I'm a student at Pilani. My degree is MSc Mathematics and Bachelor's in Electronics. And like 2 years ago, I started thinking of going into IT, right? And last year, I applied for GSoC. I had two organizations in mind. One was OSL, which was a newly introduced one, and one was Jenkins, which has been appearing for GSoC for about 2 years now, if I'm not wrong. And like Jenkins was the main org that I chose because first of all, it has been coming to GSoC for a long time. And second, the project was really great. My project was domain specific LLM where we had to find in an LLM for CIC related error and data. And I'll tell you a good story about that. As Krish mentioned, that you don't really know what I'm gonna work on. That same thing happened with me. We planned to like find in an LLM, and we went with agentic systems after that. So it was like a 180-degree turn from like the time when I was writing a proposal to when I start coding things up. And yeah, that's all. So what is GSoC? A lot of the people don't really know what GSoC is. They just like hear the name and they're like, yeah, we have to do GSoC. Let's crack it. What is GSoC? It's basically an open source program which Google funds because they want more people to come into GSoC communities and contribute. And that's all. That's all what it is. It just to like basically expand like the communities because if more people get into like open source programs, they're gonna contribute more, and they just hope that like the people who started with GSoC, they're just gonna become good contributors in future. As for the stipends, people don't really know about this. They like see the numbers about 6,000 and all, and they think like they might get that number. Actually, it is structured in a different way. It's like we have like the easy projects, medium projects, and the hard projects. And the stipend for which in India is about 750, 1,500, and $3,000. And if you're in like foreign countries, they adjust according to the PPP. So, for example, if you're in like maybe Switzerland, you might be getting $6,000 for the same work that you're getting in India. Like in India, you will get about $3,000. So there's that difference. So I think like currently you guys are making proposals, right? So the thing is, all have been like already announced. What I did and I would recommend you guys to do will be like just look at the past organizations and select like maybe 3 or 5 organizations before like they are organized, like they are announced. Because if you start early, it has like a lot of advantages. You will start making your like impression on your mentors. You will start like talking to like people in your community. You will start understanding the dynamics of the orgs and so on. Like it has like a lot of advantages. And I believe if you select about 3 to 5, most probably like 2 or 3 will at least like be announced as like they are coming for GSoC that year. As for the proposal part, one thing I'll say is like do your research properly. Sometimes people just don't do their research. And personally, I have seen resumes which were like, sorry, not resume, proposals, which were like the problem statement, and they fed that into an LLM, and that's all. That's what the proposal was. And something like that will like just get you out of the program immediately. That all will never select you ever again. So just make sure that you're like doing your research properly. You can use LLMs for like paraphrasing to write things out, to maybe like get more ideas as well. But you should be using your own brain in writing the proposal. As for the part where like I think it will be like over in about 2 weeks, like the time when you have to like submit your proposals. Make sure that you're asking for feedback from your mentors. Some organizations allow that, some of them doesn't. For example, in Jenkins, they open like a Google Doc, sorry, Google form, and you have to like submit your proposal over there, and they give you a review. So just try to like get as much as like input from the mentors, or maybe like some senior developers or anyone who's like willing to have a look at it. Just like ask them to review your proposal and point out anything that's looking weak. And I think like that helps a lot. For me, my proposal was like about maybe 12 or 20 pages. And after getting review, like the mentor just had one review, which is like, just expand these things. You have like vaguely mentioned everything, and it's like not like coming together properly. It was not structured as well. And after like mentor reviewed my proposal, it ended up being like 30, 40 pages. And my proposal was really good, as in like in Jenkins, they take an interview. If they have like 4 or 5 people who they think that they can do the job, they take an interview. I was one of those people who like whom they just selected right away. They didn't take my interview. Also, if you join any like GitHub channel, Discord, or maybe like Slack channel, don't just like look around over there. Show up early, as in like start talking to the mentors. If they are like willing to communicate with you, it's very good. Sometimes the mentors are like really busy, so they might not be able to do that. But maybe like just post an update every now and then. That's gonna show the mentors that yeah, you're taking the initiative and you're working hard and you're being consistent. And GSoC is all about like consistency. Like if you are consistent enough, if you are like making high quality PRs, even if you're not making high quality PRs, sometimes if your proposal is like really really good and you have like good enough impression on the mentors, you can get into the program. So just like make sure that any PR that you make, none of them is like low quality. And if you do have any low quality PRs, don't mention them on your resume. Sometimes people make like about like 20 or 30 doc changes, which is maybe like changing a comma, changing the font or something like that. That doesn't work. And there's no like when you're just trying to inflate the numbers, or when you're genuinely trying to like contribute into the organization. One thing I'll recommend you guys to do is like if you want to use LLMs, which you should, but you should not replace your thinking entirely with that. You should be like reading each and every line of the code that you're going to contribute. Like during the time when I was a contributor, one of the like there was one other guy who was like contributing to the same issue that I took, as in like that was assigned to me, and that guy like raised up PR for that same issue without being assigned. So that's like a very very bad habit that will like make your impression like really bad in front of the mentors. So like he put a PR, and in that PR he had a line which was like, add your API key here. And there was a comment that remove this when you're submitting the PR and something like that. Basically, the LM had a comment that the contributor should remove that line. He didn't read that. And I just pointed out like you should remove this line because it's just like not doing anything. And he started defending like, no, this like I know my code, it's fine and all. Even the mentors came and they were like, you should remove this line. But he was like, no, I won't do that. Don't be like that. Mentors know like more than you guys, right? They might not know more than you, but still. And if some other contributor is like giving you a suggestion, take it constructively. Even if they like want you to be like feel down or something like that, if they're playing mind games, don't care. It's fine. Let them be. Just be like, let's say, like just stay grounded, right? And just be polite. That's all. Mentors also do like give points for these things. Now, like, what do like mentors look for you in like they generally look for like maybe one or two quality PRs. If you have more, that's good. But if you have like one or two good quality PRs, you have a good shot at the like project. You should like update them regularly. If whenever it's like not regular enough, but still just like make a note that yeah, I have done this week. I did this much work next week and all. And also, like while you're making the proposal, you should be iterating a lot on the proposal. Like make an initial draft and start adding the things as you like start contributing, or maybe like you start searching for more things. Personally, I had to like read about 10 or 20 pages, like the research papers, and those research papers, like I added about 3 or 4 links to them, and that added like a lot of weight to my proposal. Also, every time like have a plan B. For me, I was starting with like one organization and that organization didn't get like selected for GSoC. Then I went for another organization, and like the project I was contributing to that project, like organization, that project didn't get selected. So just make sure you have like plan B for everything. As for like how to communicate, like don't ping them every 24 hours, right? Because mentors are busy, and if you just ping them too much, they might get frustrated and they might not respond. It happened like with a friend of mine. He was like pinging like the mentor like continuously, and the mentor just stopped responding to him. We need to understand like mentors are also human beings, and they are volunteering for these things. They have their own jobs, maybe studies, something like that. So they're also busy. Also, if you want help, you should ask for that. You should not be like, yeah, if I ask for help, like mentor is gonna think I don't know anything. No one knows anything. Even I think like Krish or me, like we didn't know much when we started with GSoC. And like several other contributors, they might even know, like even less than us. Fellow contributor Ronak Madan, you can search him up on LinkedIn. He got selected in his like first year, I think, and he didn't know a lot, but he started learning things and he got selected. Also, like don't argue with the reviewers, like really, never do that. Even if you like just put the whole comment and situation on the LM, and the LM is like, yeah, you should like send this specific message. Don't do that. Use a brain. If you like argue with the reviewers, they might not select your resume at the end because they might think like you're not capable enough to like take the constructive feedback. As for the mentor, like this is what I'll like personally feel is like a good good contributor. He has a few PRs most. It can be like one or two high quality PRs. It's like well done. If he has no PRs, it's fine, but that specific contributor should be like maybe like asking doubts, should be like staying in the like organization and being like talking to everyone. Maybe it can be anything. Just engage with the community before you start applying. Yeah. Also, if someone asks like really high quality questions, that's a positive as well. Because generally we get like really bad questions. Someone is like, how do I find this repo? How do I find this issue? How can I contribute? These are like really low quality like questions. There was one question where someone was using like a Linux device maybe, and like what happened was when like the contributor made the project, he made that on Mac. So there was like a problem when like the contributor was trying to run the project on his like device. He asked like very specific question, and that question brought him like notice like the vendors, right? अब उसको mentors देखेंगे and they will be like, yeah, this guy, he's asking really good questions. He found a problem and he's discussing like what we can do to like solve the problem. He gets a lot of points from the mentors at that point. Even if he does something like bad, maybe like his proposal is not up to the mark, still he will get points for the early interaction. Also, when you're writing a proposal, make sure about one thing that like the milestones, they're concrete, as in like they're like achievable, they are doable. You have a like really good timeline for that, and you have done enough work, as in like you have enough, like you have shown them that you can do the work, and like just so that you can do the work in like coding period with like similar accuracy and efficiency. You can DM the mentors privately. They don't really mind that, but if they ask you to like maybe put the question on the Slack channel or maybe GitHub, like where everyone can see that, you should do that. Also, generic proposals, that's like a really like big problem. People don't follow the template that's given by the organization, and it's a problem because when the mentors are going to review your proposal, they will be like, yeah, this guy didn't even follow the structure that we give him or her. So why do they want to select them, right? As for my journey, like picking Jenkins was kind of like a fluke actually. I was searching for a lot of projects which are like related to my expertise, and I found that Jenkins is like introducing a new project, and I was like really intrigued by that. I was like, why like organization which is into CI/CD is offering a project that's related to like LLMs or maybe like Gen AI. When I got to know about the project, I was like, yeah, Jenkins is a like really good organization. I should try for it. And Krish mentioned that like you should not try for the projects which has a lot of competition. I think like it's the right thinking, but I feel like it should be different. You should not be afraid of competition. You should be confident in your skills, and you should have attitude that's like, yeah, I'm confident in my skills. I'll see who may ever like counts. I'm gonna beat them. It happened with me. An engineer with like 3 years of experience came, but I was like, yeah, I'll see. Let's see what will happen. And they selected me instead of that guy. Because sometimes it's not about how much experience or skills you have. It's more about the attitude and more about like how much you're willing to contribute as well. When I had my first contribution, one thing I never like contributed to Jenkins before GSoC. I was contributing to different organizations. That is because Jenkins, they don't really have any code bases that are built in Python. Most of them are in different languages. So I never contributed to Jenkins before I like got selected for GSoC. You should keep this in mind because if sometimes you have some particular skill and an organization is coming for that a project in that skill domain, you can contribute to other projects which are similar, and you can like add the PR links for those like specific projects to your proposal. They are gonna know like, okay, fine, he didn't have any project, so it's fine. He contributed in like other projects which are similar, and it's gonna actually add more weight because the admins or the mentors, they will know that this guy can do like work which is like in the similar skill field. As for like GSoC is not like really a one summer thing. For me, it got extended. Like I had to work about for like 5 months. It got extended by 2 months because I willingly wanted to contribute more. And the mentors were like, we can maybe expand the scope of the project. Actually, like you should not do this week. You should have done it like maybe in Feb. But if you're starting now, make sure that you do like the following: pick one or two org and just start like going to the channels, look at what conversations have happened like in maybe like past 2 weeks, what people are contributing on. If there's any good first issue, like just use that first issue to get habitual with the code base, to understand what the code base is like and what your problem and what issue you're working on. Make sure like the problem statement that you want to work on and the first issue that you're working on, they should have some correlation between them. They It should not be like you wanted to like work on ML and you're making a PR that's in like web dev. That won't really add much into your proposal. Also, like if you want like draft or a proposal, I can share your prompt that I was using when I was making my proposal. I was just like making the review of my proposal, and I just wanted like to be like as brutal as possible, just get as many mistakes as it wants to like, and it actually helped me like making my proposal a lot better than it was earlier. So I can like share that prompt if you want, like after this meeting. That's all. Do you guys any questions? Like I think we have 10 minutes, so I'll answer any question that you might have. Just open your mic. Come on.
Good evening, Chirag. Actually,
Yes.
I just when I was searching for the organization, I researched on three organizations: Jenkins, Comia, and JSON schemas. But
Okay.
actually, when I researched about their proposals and all, I didn't get a clear clarity how to create a proposal that is acceptable by the organization.
Okay.
Can you give a like a rough draft of the proposal? How can we, as I am in a first year, this is my first time I am contributing to a open source. So I don't know how to write a proper proposal that is organization may ask us.
Okay, fine. Just give me another, like, one second. I'll try to find the doc that we have for Jenkins. Mm. You saw, like, like, Krish's proposal, right?
Sorry.
Samath? You saw what Krish, like, when Krish was showing his proposal. You saw that, right?
Yeah, right. I saw that.
Okay, I'll just, like, give you a, like, brief overview of that. What you have to do is, like, first you have to, like, mention your, like, what the project is going to be, the org that you want to contribute in, and maybe like they ask for some information of yours, maybe like age, like which college you're from, what program you're doing, as in like which degree you're doing, and that's all. Like then you have to give like an abstract, you have to like make an index, you have to keep in mind three things. Three things will be like one, like what are you going to do, what are the things that you're going to work on, right? It should be like a really good structure, as make it like a story. You can say that these are the things that I'm going to do first, and after that I'll be like building maybe XYZ services, or it can like if you're working on any ML model, you can say that first 3 weeks I'm going to collect the data, right? I'll be starting with data in the proposal. I'll share the ways that I can get the data, maybe creating the data, and so on. And I'll like show my research into the proposal as well. After that, it's like selecting the model and training the model. And then I'll mention that like training and selecting the model part. I may give like different architectures that we can use. Maybe I can add like pros and cons of that. And after that, we can like give how we are going to validate the results. So this is one thing, which is like what are you going to do in the proposed like in the project. Second is going to be the timeline. Timeline should be as accurate as possible. I mean, like, it's fine if you're not going to like follow the timeline, but it should be something believable because mentors, if you have like too many things in the starting weeks, mentors are gonna think that this guy has not think the things through. They will be like, if you put like maybe 5 or 6 things in the first week, and you have not done that much work before like submit the proposal, mentors are going to think that this guy doesn't know how to like give the output, but he's saying that he will do that. So they might not stick to you. So make sure that the timeline it's like built after you have like done your research, plus you have given enough time thinking about the timeline. Third will be like the about me sections. Most of the org have that. In that you have to like give what things that you have done. Why do you think you will be like a good contributor for this project? And you can also like add the PRs that you have worked on, or maybe like past experiences as in projects or maybe internships that you might have done. Any open source project that you might have done, that's a good like thing to put in as well. So that's like the overview. Maybe you can like message me on LinkedIn. I'll share you a couple of proposals that I think are good ones from like past contributors.
All right, Stra. Actually, I have a doubt. The third section you told us, like I can mention there my internship and the work I have done. As being in a first year, I don't have any internship yet,
Mm-hmm.
and the work actually, to be very honest, not that much work I have done right now. I just have hackathons and little much of
Start those.
learning.
You have done hackathons, right? Just start those. Just show that you will be like a good fit for the project. It doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of things because you're a first year student. You can like understand that. Even if like the quantity is low, the quality should be there.
Yeah.
Understand, right? And I think I don't really care if someone is from like first year or second year, if they have certain like level of skills and they're willing to contribute, that's a green light for me. So
All
don't
right.
worry about
Thank
like
you.
putting too many things into it. Yes, Utkarsh?
Uh, Good evening. So, like, my question is, like, if I am applying into an organization like whose tech stack is completely different from mine, like I use React
Mm-hmm.
frameworks for front end, and like they are using TypeScripts for front end. Like, will
Yes.
it be better to like apply for that organization, or it would be a better opportunity to like go for the tech stack like which I am in specialized?
I think the latter will be like better for you because if an organization has the whole code base in TypeScript, they will want you to like code in TypeScript as well, right? They will want you to contribute in that language. And you will have to also show some proof of work before you get selected. Otherwise, how will they know that you can do the job, right? You can't really learn everything in like maybe 1 or 2 months. It takes a lot of time, right? So I think you should go for an organization or the project that uses the like the tech stack that you have, that you use. And don't worry
I
about
have
the organization too much.
Okay, I have another question. Like, if a organization is like working on some serious, like heavy things like an LLMs, like I don't have much GPU computational powers for that. Like, how they would be able to help me with that?
Oh, so like sometimes they give credits for these things. So you don't have to worry about that. They might give you access to some like VM that they have. VM means like virtual machine. Or they might just like give you maybe like a run pod instance or some other things. So you don't have to worry about the credits or the computation power because generally the organization are the ones that provide you that. And even if they don't provide you that, maybe you can just like use some of the stipend that you will be getting from GSoC for that specific thing. Uh, you can also use like GPU that Kaggle provides. They do give some quota. I think it's about 30 hours a week, and I think that should be enough for like small projects. Does that answer your question, Utkarsh?
Yes, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Hey guys, come on. I know you might have questions, might be so like too shy to ask anything of that. You can ask anything. It's okay.
Hi, Chirag.
Hello.
Actually, I do have a question. I am from EC background and I have worked with robotic operating system and ROS
Mm-hmm.
too. So my question is, I'm not into the software side, but in GSoC, are there any organizations that are basically focused on robotics and developing systems?
I think there are some organizations which are interested in robotics and developing systems, but the problem is they will be only coming for software related projects in GSoC. So what I will suggest you can maybe like get into the org via GSoC, and then you can like become a part of that organization. And I think it's a like really good opportunity for you as well. If you get into an organization via GSoC, you will have some standing over there, right? And you can just like ask your mentors because generally those mentors there are people who are at like quite a high level in the organization. You can just ask those like your mentors for introducing you to like some of the projects that they're working on, or maybe like their colleagues are working on. So yeah, like if I have to answer your question, no, there are like no orgs that will be giving you projects which are related to your skill or domain, but you can definitely get those kind of projects via GSoC after becoming a contributor.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so like guys, if anyone has any questions, you can reach me out on LinkedIn. and I think like the time is also over. So nice to see you, and I hope to like see a few of your proposals because I'll be the one who is gonna review that. So yeah, see ya guys. Bye.
So that brings end to our session. So first of all, I would like to give a big thank you to Krish and Chirag. Thank you for your valuable time and guidance. Now, as we have already gone through the Q&A session, so if any one of you have any doubt regarding GSoC, you can reach out to Chirag and Krish, and I hope they'll be kind enough to reply to your questions. So that brings end to our session. Thank you so much for attending.